Thank you so much for spending some time with us today. This is the conclusion video for our workshop on understanding by design. Before we leave, I do want to revisit those three big ideas and play the final component of that video clip from Jay McTighe, which kind of leaves with some, I feel, good parting words, some things to think about as you walk away from this workshop. So first, those three big ideas, you should be able to see them on your screen. Big idea one, backwards design is an instructional design process comprised of three key stages: identify desired results, determine acceptable evidence, and plan learning experiences and instruction accordingly. Okay, big idea two, the UBD template version 2.0 is a dynamic, adaptable framework that guides the educator in the backwards design process. The template can be used to design instruction from various starting points. So you may already have an existing lesson, you may be creating new, whatever. The UBD template is flexible and adaptable to meet all of those needs. And finally, big idea number three is developing a unit sketch that models the three stages of backwards design and uses the template, allows educators to analyze the logic, sequence, and elements of a plan before getting into the nitty-gritty details of what will happen in the day-to-day instructional activities. Okay, those are our three big ideas. As promised, here is the final video, or the final portion of that same video we started at the very beginning of this workshop. And straight from the horse's mouth, here's Jay McTighe on what advice do you have for educators using understanding by design.
People who have been introduced to understanding by design and want to extend it further, there are a few pieces of advice I'd offer. I'm going to start with teachers. Understanding by design is, I believe, a rich and effective planning framework for planning from curriculum standards or national curriculum or achievement outcomes. But it's not a simple planning framework. And when people get into it, they realized it's not easy necessarily. So my advice accordingly is for teachers to think big, start small, and go for an early win. And by that I mean, think big. If you like the Understanding by Design framework, think about maybe 2-3 years from now that you want most of your teaching planned in this way. But start small. This is hard to do. It's hard to do well. And so don't kill yourself. Start with maybe 1 or 2 units a year. If possible, work with a colleague or a team. Try your unit out, revise it based on how it works and what didn't work. And you will find that in so doing, you'll better understand the process. The next unit you develop will be easier. And over time, it will become a way of thinking. The go for the early win part of my advice is to suggest that as a teacher, don't pick your toughest unit or a brand new one you've never taught or one you really don't like. Pick your favorite. Pick a unit that has really worked for you in the past. Use Understanding by Design to embellish and enhance it. That's an early win, and it's easier to build from that than trying to do too much too soon and just overwhelming yourself. Now, for school leaders, the same maxim applies. Think big. If you think the Understanding by Design framework is important and useful, think about how 2, 3, 4 years from now you'd like to see it as the lingua franca in your school, the framework that everyone knows and works with. But that's a long-term goal. Start small. So invite a small group of teachers to try their hand at planning a UBD unit. Let them do it in a team if at all possible. Maybe you even get a substitute or release day for them to work on it and let them try it out. Having a small number of teachers try out UBD and get comfortable with it and see its value will then help you sell it to larger groups. So think big with a long-term goal for your school. Start small, start with volunteers or a small group, and go for an early win. Invite the people who you think will like this, who resonate with this kind of teaching and planning, and who are open and interested in trying new things. One of the best ways of killing UBD at the school level is for a school leader to mandate it for everyone without proper training, support, or rationale of why we're doing this. Think big, start small, involve a volunteer group of teachers, and build from there.
Okay. Thank you again for investing some time with us today. We really do appreciate it. Hope it's valuable for you. If you have questions in the future about this, please feel free to reach out directly via email at me at the State Board of Education would be your contact. So my email, aklein, that's AKLEIN at isbe.net. Please feel free to reach out directly. Thank you again for spending time with us and hope you have a good rest of your IVT conference.